Whew, Bojo is in trouble. Okay, so there's a couple of parts to this. First and foremost, the difference between a pathological liar and just a liar is something that needs to be highlighted. When Nigel Farage comes out and says that the EU controls all of our laws, that we have no sovereignty, we have no say, we have no power whatsoever, and we are just a puppet for the EU government. That's an outright lie. And it's a lie that we can and have debunked over and over again, and you can do it if you want to spend just a few minutes fact checking. Easily debunkable. But he's not a pathological liar, because as far as I can tell, he's not lied about the really stupid shit. It's only politics. It's not necessarily the things that will trip him up down the line. Boris Johnson is a pathological liar. This man came out and lied saying the EU won't let us have bendy bananas. That's the kind of horseshit you do not need to come out and lie about, but he did. Boris Johnson came out and said, after struggling to think, that he makes buses out of boxes and paints them. Now, if you watch that entire thing, because you could take that one little snippet and say, okay, well, that's true. But there's a very clear reaction when someone is lying to you and lying over, have that one little segment where they just start lying. It's very clear because it becomes more stumbly, he becomes more distant, he becomes more stuttery and more vacant than usual. So it's clear that he was lying in that little segment when the question was, how do you like to relax? I mean, it's very simple. I like to drink whiskey. That makes me relax. I like to play the PlayStation. I like archery. Very simple things, and all he had to do was say, you know what, I like a glass of wine, that helps me relax. Instead, he lied saying that he builds boxes. Builds buses. It's crazy. But that's just one of many examples that show that this man is a pathological liar. And we've now had it in parts of the media where journalists, or so-called journalists, have celebrated the fact that they know Boris Johnson is lying to everyone. But as it pushes what they narratively want, they're okay with it and they celebrate it. They celebrate the fact that they know he's lying and they love it. But now it's taken a very interesting turn, because Boris Johnson didn't just lie to prorogue Parliament, which it was obvious he lied. Yes, proroguing is something that happens all the time, but it happens to end a session of government when the main goals and objectives of that particular government have been concluded, which was obviously not, because the main goals and objectives for the last 3 years has been Brexit. So Brexit hasn't gone one way or the other. It's not concluded. There's no need to prorogue Parliament, and certainly not for 5 weeks. But he lied, and he also lied to the Queen. Now, as I've said, I'm not a royalist. I don't see the point in a monarchy, and certainly in this day and age, they are incredibly outdated. We simply don't need them. It's pointless. But it is a serious thing if you're a conservative, especially if you're Prime Minister and you lie to the Queen. This is one of those things that could have serious repercussions. Now, again, just as in my video, one of my last videos, I don't think Bojo will face any serious repercussions from this, because he is a wealthy man, and typically the wealthy elite, they don't typically tend to face the same kind of justice as the rest of us, unless they've done something incredibly, horrifically wrong. But it is an interesting thing to know, and we could have Parliament forced back in, either in a week or so, thanks to the Scottish courts saying, well, no, it wasn't justified. You clearly lied. What the hell are you playing at? So now it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and we'll have to see. But I think everyone has to remember, when the next general election comes up, the Conservatives got behind a guy who is a pathological liar and an unbelievable, incompetent buffoon. The man who got Nazim Radcliffe thrown into a prison cell because of his own incompetency and then did nothing to rectify this. The man who lied to the Queen, the Conservative Party got behind. It's an important thing to remember, I think.